Yeah.
What's special about this menu?
Okay, so it's a nuclear winter menu. Apparently, scientists say that during nuclear winter we're going to have mainly two things to eat, which are seaweed and oyster mushrooms. So we actually built a menu around that. But we want to make it clear that we have to be realistic. Like after the apocalypse, we won't be eating anything. Exactly, this is not the idea really. We won't be eating anything.
And we definitely won't be drinking wine. We'll be dead.
Definitely won't be drinking wine. We'll be dead, and no surplus, no surplus anymore. Okay.
So we have chairs. How else can we go?
Please sit down and have a go on our menu. Have you nori? It's like there's the kind of seaweed that we always have when you make sushi and things like that. Seaweed tempura chips. Have you tried them? They're over there.
Not only but partially.
We're gonna have a soup made out of 3 different seaweeds.
But also people not falling.
And here's the salad. They're made out of like things that you find in your bunkers, right? Like tins and things like that.
Sorry.
Chickpeas and things like that. Yeah.
Punching up. Everybody would be interested.
But
Information that was shared.
I'm going to explain the dish as when they come, right?
It's an Irish Callaghan Irish moss. It's like it acts like a bit like gelatin. It's gelatinous. I think in Jamaica they drink it a lot. Like they put it in tonics. And it's a bit like gelatin. Chocolate's going to be difficult, but not if you've got it, like, you know. If you've read it.
Nothing's difficult if you've got it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you happen to be, we're not going to be having any dinner parties in the nuclear winter.
Decisions they make, it's demonstrably the fact that you do better things like tossing a coin. So you have a sort of, I don't know, in this country it would be the royal aviator or somebody who's a person in robes, like a judge or whatever, and their job, whenever a motion is put forward in Parliament, instead of them all voting, it just gets out the special royal sovereign, tosses it to heads, like that's what.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, great idea. I mean, it's all good. That would be a huge improvement. What the Romans did.
I won't.
But it will be passed on to come and just.
I'm not in any urgency.
Maybe just spreads.
Yeah, I think one point that you made in the beginning of the presentation I thought was super interesting is like when you're talking about. It was when you were talking about symbiosis, you described it as like a stable.
Evolutionary stable strategy. It's a standard idea, yes.
And I think that's like
it's an absolutely standard piece of biology.
Yeah, but it's like that concept describes, because evolution, I guess, I don't know, there must be some definition that says that a successful type of evolution is one where the species thrive.
Let me tell you exactly what an evolutionary stable strategy is. An organism is exhibiting an evolutionarily stable strategy when no mutation can outcompete where it currently is.
Right.
Okay? In other words, any move away from where it currently is less likely to produce offspring.
So it's the status quo, essentially.
Sorry?
It's the status quo, it's like the success of...
No, it's not the status quo, because the environment changes and other organisms change around it. So what constitutes an evolutionary strategy can also change, but nonetheless, for any given frozen moment, it's the strategy, it's the best that can be done. So, for example, let's look at something absolutely fundamental, which is the conflict, as it were, between pacifism and aggression. If you imagine a society comprised of 2 types of individuals, there are doves who never fight, and there are hawks who always fight. Okay? Now, if you take that society and ask, well, surely the hawks will always win. But no, they don't, because in a society comprised entirely of hawks, they always injure each other, and they end up far worse off than the occasional dove who doesn't fight, and therefore doesn't get injured. Equally, a society entirely comprised of doves is a society where a hawk can invade very easily, because they can obviously fight and win. And so there must be a balance point in between the two extremes, not a society entirely of hawks, not a society entirely of doves. And this is something you can actually write down mathematically and show for various given returns to aggression or returns for not being aggressive, what the balance point will be. And so every society, it doesn't matter if it's human beings or if it's ants, will be at some point on that balance between the two extremes. And that balance point is what's called an evolutionarily stable strategy.
Okay, so here's what I'm interested in, is the quality of it. So imagine you have a society of 500 doves, and they all get along, they grow the land together,
Yeah,
they sort of,
and then
they share everything.
3 hawks come along.
Everything's fine.
Yeah,
Not
stable.
Not stable, fine. And then you have a society of, I don't know, let's say 400, no, let's say...
400 doves and 100 hawks. Go.
400 doves and 100 hawks, exactly.
Yeah.
And that one...
Is stable.
Is more stable, according to you.
Well, according to the mathematics, okay, it's not according to me.
But what I'm saying is you have one population of 500, one population of 500.
Yes.
One is going to contain like infinitely larger degrees of conflict than the other one.
Not infinitely, finitely.
Okay. But how do you calculate that? Surely the 500...
It entirely depends on the return for being aggressive and the return for being collaborative.
But I would say on that basis that mathematics
I want to hear
is...
that.
Yeah, I know, but also mathematics is slightly wrong on that front.
No, I
Mathematics can't be wrong.
I completely agree with that. But, but how do you like...
It's the selfish
What
genes.
is
Good
pain? Does it mean that the 500 doves end up... I don't know, do they all die out? Because
No.
like, what happens?
The society gravitates to the balance point. If you've got 500 doves, let's suppose the balance point is 400 doves and 100 hawks.
Yeah.
Okay, the balance point is actually far to the right of that. It's many more doves and far fewer hawks, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Suppose the balance point is as I just said. If you've got a society of 200 doves and 3